Welcome to Street Talk with the Swift Gang. I'm Miss Fancy Pants.
And I'm Vincenzo. Every Friday night from 10 p.m. to midnight, we are going to give you entertainment, exclusive interview, contents, and a whole lot more. Matter of fact, you just saw our slideshow featuring today's guest, the Animal Farm Refuge. They are going to be our special guests today, and they're going to be hanging out, so I hope you guys enjoyed those photos.
You saw Matt and Jordan. They were out on the farm, and you also saw some of their gear. So we'll talk about that later on in the show, how you can support them. Understand veganism. Is veganism a word?
We can make it a word.
I tried to Google veganism, and it didn't really show up. So maybe...
We're all about change these days. So you know what?
Innovation.
We can add it. We can add it to our dictionary.
Perfect. Well, tomorrow actually begins Farm Animal Awareness Week. So that'll help tie in kind of why we've got Farm Animal Refuge on tonight's show. And a couple of other things that we've got going on that we can talk to you about. It's also the start of National Hispanic Heritage Month. So we'll let you know what you can do to help celebrate that a little bit later on.
Yeah, so if you'd like to chat with us, please go on gohamradio.com. You can chat with us live there, watch our show live there, or you can check us out here on Facebook. Chat with us live on Facebook. We're going to have a lot of great topics that we're going to be discussing. And so when we're discussing, go ahead and chat us, and we promise we'll get to your comments and your different things that you guys, points that you guys make out, and join us in our roundtable discussions and exclusive content.
What we're doing right now is I actually gave Jordan and Matt our live feed, my iPad, basically. So when you guys chat us, you can live chat and ask some questions regarding being vegan, the vegan lifestyle, having farm animals in your life, in your home.
I can't wait till we talk about that, because it's more than just farm animals. Matt and I were talking a little bit before the show,
Animals?
He was dropping some knowledge on me. I mean, some serious information. So I can't wait till we get to him.
If you guys have any questions, just hit us up on the chat, and we'll make sure to get to you. She'll be answering some questions. So you know what's important about today?
What's important about today?
I don't know, but I bet you DJ Roscoe will be able to know. Let us know what is important this day in time. DJ Roscoe?
Thank you. This day in time, September 15th, the university in Austin, Texas, was opened 1883. In 1949, Lone Ranger premiered on ABC TV for the first time. In 1961, the U.S. resumed underground testing of nuclear weapons. In 1978, Dodgers became the first major league team to draw 3 million fans. In 1982, the first issue of USA Today's newspaper was published. In 1983, police officer beat Michael Stewart to death for graffiti in New York subway. In 1997, the domain name Google.com was registered. And that ends the wrap of this day in time. If anyone is celebrating a birthday today or even this weekend, feel free to hit us up on our live chat room so we can give you a special shout out. Now back to Miss Fancy Pants and Vincenzo with our weekly rundown.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. I didn't know about the Google fact. That
was really interesting, wasn't it?
Dropping a little knowledge on us.
We're just getting all sorts of information today. We're becoming smarter people as the day goes on.
I got more information. Did you guys know that today is National 8-Track Day? Did you know that? It's National 8-Track Day.
Where did you find that?
I was rummaging through some old things of my grandmother's. It's also National Hug Your Boss Day.
I won't be hugging anybody today.
Why don't you tell us about some weather?
Yeah, so we got a really, really awesome weekend coming up ahead of us. So right now, the current conditions is about 69 degrees. So if you guys are walking around downtown right now, well, you're probably not if you're listening to us, but
they could be watching us on their mobile device.
That is a true possibility, right?
They could be watching us. Valets could be on the side holding their phones. Anybody.
Maybe they're watching us going into the bar or something like that, right? From the car.
Maybe they got kicked out of the bar.
And they need something to do now?
Yeah, because their friends aren't leaving yet.
10:30 or 10:15. That's pretty early to get kicked out of a bar. You must have been pre-gaming pretty hard if
they were playing catch-up.
Oh, my.
That game never works.
Back to the weather. So 69 degrees this evening. Hey, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday, all highs in the highs in the 70s, lows in the high 60s. So it's going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. All sunny, Maybe a little bit of clouds around midday on Saturday, but other than that, it's going to be absolutely terrific.
Well, that's pretty good because on what's going on with the AC in the city, the arts and culture, we've got a couple of things going on this weekend that that will benefit to some good weather. What we have on Saturday is the Taste of South Park. I know you did too.
I did Taste of Downtown last night.
Right?
Oh, it had its highlights and it had its low points. Let's just put it that way.
Oh. Well, hopefully the Taste of South Park will be better. I think tickets are about $30. You can go online and get those.
Absolutely worth it if you've never done it before.
Have you guys done it? If you've done it, why don't you chime in and chat us and let us know how it was? We can respond back to you. Again, we've got Jordan and Matt on the chat, so they'll be able to hook you up with some answers. And also, what we have is to celebrate National Heritage Month, Hispanic Heritage Month in Old Town from noon to 4 p.m. on Saturday. They have the Fiestas Patrias. I don't know if I said that appropriately, but I tried my best.
Festival of Patriots.
Yes, the Festival of Patriots. Thank you for our
Good thing
translator.
I know a little bit of Spanish.
It's a free event, so bring the family. You can go out there and celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. Noon to 4, Old Town. And then on Sunday, Ultimate Women's Expo at the Convention Center. Tickets are $10, still available, so go and check that out. You said that you went to the Taste of San Diego last night, right?
I did. It was great.
Okay.
It was great in a lot of ways. There were some restaurants that were fantastic, some restaurants that were not so fantastic.
I don't know if we're going to name names, but can you tell me if there was a certain item that was served more than once?
No. Well,
so
yes,
every spot had a different...
Yes, but you know what? The one place, what's interesting is that there are some restaurants that are chain restaurants
Okay.
that are involved. So, you kind of expect to get that out of them. And then there are other restaurants, or bars, if you will, that provide food similar to what maybe those chain restaurants serve. However, theirs may be a little bit more handcrafted,
Okay.
therefore providing a different flavor and taste. And
Can I ask you what is your favorite?
okay, so
you can
my
name
favorite,
names
and
of
I
favorite.
will name my favorites. I will not name my not so favorites.
Okay.
So Whiskey Girl, okay,
Was a favorite?
was one of my favorites. Now they served two items. They had a meatball and they had a Thai chicken wing. Now the meatball, given that I'm Italian, I'm going to talk a little bit more negatively about that because I'm kind of biased.
Do you think it was handmade?
No. Well, if it wasn't seasoned very well. But that's just for me, and I kind of have high expectations on my meatballs. So I might be a bad example to go off of. But the chicken wing was off the chain. Really, really good.
Really?
The other place that I really, really enjoyed was Analog, which is a bar off of, I want to say, Market and 5th.
F.
F? Okay.
And it's actually 5th and F.
5th and F. And I don't eat Brussels sprouts, but they had the most terrific grilled, balsamic glazed, pancetta, garlic, whatever, Brussels sprouts. It was amazing. I would go back and eat just pounds and pounds of that if I could.
Well, that being said, were there vegan or vegetarian options at these spots that offered meat? So you said that
there was an Italian restaurant that did offer a salad.
So there's only one or two that honored a vegetarian or vegan lifestyle?
Well, given that there was 45 places to go to.
45 and only one or two?
Well, I didn't go to all 45.
Oh, okay. How many did you go to?
I'd say about 20.
Okay, so you went to half. That's worth it. Okay, so out of 20, how many would have...
Would you guys consider a macaroon vegan?
Macaroon is vegetarian. It's not vegan.
Or
It's
vegetarian?
yeah, vegetarian, absolutely.
Okay, so 2 places.
That you went.
It
that I
was a
went to.
salad and a macaroon?
A salad and a macaroon. Well,
So
hold
it
on.
probably-
Actually, 86 that. Excuse me. Also, there was another place that they did a black truffle potato chip with a French onion dip, which doesn't have any meat in it whatsoever.
You can't do French
No,
onion.
French onion is meat. Oh, because the sour cream and the milk component of the dip, and the beef stock, right? Yep.
Wow.
Except for that.
I feel like you almost have to be like a chef just to know if what you're eating. I would have thought
It's funny 'cause-
French. It's
Yeah, because Matt and I were actually talking about that. Matt actually comes from a culinary background, which makes the whole thing unique. So
you
it's
know
gonna be,
he was a sous chef at Snooze. Was it Snooze? Or he was the chef at Snooze. I don't know if you guys have been to Snooze. It's on 5th Avenue in Hillcrest. Amazing breakfast. But yeah, he's currently a bartender. Can we say where you're a bartender at?
the Black Rabbit.
At the Rabbit Hole.
Oh, Rabbit Hole.
The rabbit hole.
rabbit
We're
hole.
going after the show. By the end of the night, he'll know where he works. The rabbit hole. That's where
The
you got
rabbit hole.
hammered, and
You
I
know
had
why?
to.
You know why I said Black Rabbit is because I watched The Matrix earlier today, and they had the White Rabbit, and for some reason, I don't know where I got Black Rabbit, but
Wow, you watched The Matrix.
it's a good movie.
Oh,
Maybe we live in a Matrix.
I guarantee we live in a Matrix. All right. Well, let's take a break. Enough with all this talk. Why don't we get to the music? I know DJ Roscoe, you were jamming with him about a half hour before we got on the mic, but why don't we give him another little mini set?
And before he goes on,
Ooh.
I want to remind everybody that you can actually start listening to DJ Roscoe live every Friday night with Jammin' with DJ Roscoe.
We be jammin', man.
starting at 9:30, leading up to Street Talk with the Swift Gang.
Yep.
You're listening to Street Talk with the Swift Gang.
Welcome back to the show. It is Street Talk with the Swift Gang. I'm Vinny Cenzo.
And I'm Miss Fancy Pants. Tonight on Street Talk, we're going to be talking about two things, immigration and DACA. Living in Southern California, those two issues hit pretty close to home. And for those of you who are unaware of what DACA is or the issues that we've been dealing with the Dreamers, let me give you a quick rundown of some facts. So DACA stands for the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals. It's an American immigration policy that was set by Obama administration in June of 2012. DACA allowed certain illegal immigrants who entered the country as minors to receive a renewable 2-year period of deferred action from deportation and eligibility for a work permit. The California DREAM Act, DREAM standing for Development, Relief, and Education for Alien Minors, allows undocumented and non-resident documented students brought into the U.S. under age 16 years old without documentation but have attended public schools regularly who meet certain provisions to apply for and receive private scholarships funded through public universities, state-administered financial aid, university grants, community college fee waivers, and Cal grants. So DACA consists of 850,000 students here in California. It is said that about 1.3 million individuals are available for DACA. However, only currently there are 850,000. 91% of the Dreamers are employed. The U.S. would lose over $400 billion in GDP if they were deported after DACA removal. So kind of an overview is DACA was created by the Obama administration to give these alien children who came over with their parents, either they came over and their parents came over legally and their visas expired and they stayed, or they were brought over with their parents illegally, and when they changed the laws to be more serious, they were fearful of going back over to Mexico. Because originally,
It wasn't just Mexico and Central America. I think it's other countries as well.
right?
Too.
We're just kind of contouring it towards our Latinos in Mexico because those are the ones that we see here in Southern California.
Especially here in California and Southern California. They're
exactly. And even up in
primarily
Los
Latino.
Angeles. Los Angeles has a very high Latino population up there as well. And a lot of the Dreamers, when they came, or a lot of the individuals who came over illegally and then applied for DACA and Dreamers, they went to schools. They came over here when they were about 6.5 years old and went to school alongside their American counterparts and didn't even realize that they were illegal or even understood that they were illegal until they were teenagers. And then, that's where they kind of had two different ways of transitioning into illegality. Ooh, that's a tough one,
I don't
right?
know. I think you should Webster Dictionary that one.
Oh, I'm going to create my own dictionary.
Well, I think what
Fancy
what ends up
dictionary.
happening, is that they're caught in in an interesting predicament because they find out when they're teenagers, once they're able to understand, the kind of the complexity of the situation, that they're illegal.
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? And I think they're caught at a crossroad. They're caught at a crossroad because, one, I think a lot of these folks want to apply for DACA benefits.
Mm-hmm.
it's really a shame because you see the numbers here and it says, I think there's, would you say, over 1 million are available? 1.3 million people are eligible for DACA, but only 800,000 people actually have it. Now that's that's a pretty good number, but what you're looking at is about 500,000 people who are scared to do it, and I think what it is they're afraid to do it because they fear that by giving so much intimate information about their immigration status here in the United States, that they run the risk of maybe actually being deported. I think that's what they fear. They fear the risk of being deported and losing everything that they've created here. So that's what kind of shies them away.
Guarantee.
Correct. And I think that's where I think programs such as DACA are great because they offer an opportunity for people who come here illegally a way to kind of maybe go about their business here in a legal fashion, so it's a little bit more. They're a little bit more in tune with the rest of society here. What I would like to see this turn
mind
into.
You that DACA is for childhood arrivals.
Right.
They did propose in the past that there would be a deferred action for parental arrivals,
Right.
and that got shut down. They want them to go through the already implemented immigration process. But as far as children, they're a little bit more lenient because they don't have any control over their situation.
Absolutely.
And so we're trying to help give them a better opportunity than what they had been afforded in the past.
I agree 100%. You know what? And we should give them that opportunity. Now, one of the things that I got from the information regarding DACA that I was really, really disappointed in reading was that a lot of these students, they don't meet the minimum educational requirement that DACA requires in order for them to receive benefits or to, qualify for some of the DACA, the things
Benefits.
that DACA has to offer. And I think, with that being said, I actually have the numbers here. Hold on, let me find it here real quick. It says something where, they're not all valedictorians. Nearly 400,000 young immigrants who would otherwise qualify for DACA benefits do not meet the educational requirements. Well, why is that?
Sometimes it can be circumstantial.
Certainly, but you know what? I think that brings up a great point because I think if we're going to help these immigrant children, okay, who are innocent and had no say in coming over to this country whatsoever, whether they were lied to coming over here or whatever the situation may be, okay, I think we owe it to ourselves that not only that we take care and take care of these kids because they are innocent, all right, but I think that in an effort to make them American citizens, that we should hold them to the same kind of standards that we hold some of our own students. The example that I would like to use is a normal American student athlete has to maintain a minimum 2.0 GPA here in the United States. Okay. I think it would be very wise, and it would serve as an incentive maybe to some of these families to push education among, to their young children. If they set, within reason, a certain GPA requirement that these kids have to meet so that they can continue to receive the benefit. And then that's what's happening right now.
So you're referring to children that are trying to come in now, because DACA is
Right.
referring to children who have already come in. So you're saying...
I think what this should be is it should be for all children, regardless of when they've come into the United States. And what I suggest
so even
is
a child that comes in a week ago.
Correct. As long as they're under the age of 18. So, and because that, here in the United States, we consider an 18-year-old an adult. Okay. So at that point, if you've come over, or if you're 18 years old, I would be inclined to say that you cannot try to register for DACA benefits or whatever.
They would be able to register for other immigration.
But I think kind of to bring it back to what I was
was
trying to refer to was in the reference to education, because being a parent myself, okay, being successful in school, there has to be a certain element of support at home, and what I mean by that is that it's got to come from the parents. And some of these immigrant parents are, yes, they're hardworking people, honest people who are trying to make a better life for their families.
Came over here for the education.
That's why they came here. Now, because they're working 16, maybe 18 hours a day, maybe they don't necessarily have the energy to say, hey, mijo, go to school, take care of your, or to check on their schoolwork, or to,
they're too
or
tired,
be
or
up. But I think what I think there has to be once again another incentive put into place. Okay. And what I'm alluding to is, you sign up for DACA, you maintain these GPAs. Well, now you're fast tracking your ability to gain U.S. citizenship. Not only are you fast tracking your way to gain U.S. citizenship, but it will also allow your parents who brought you here undocumented against your will the ability to also
legalize them.
Yeah, the ability to be legalized. And I think if there was, from an educational standpoint, if there was more of an incentive, maybe, I don't think there should be, because it should be a natural instinct, but that's a conversation for another day. I think there should be some sort of an incentive to continue to keep everyone honest if they're going to sign up for programs like these, because I think what you run into is you find a lot of American citizens, tax-paying American citizens, who maybe don't necessarily agree with giving their taxpayer dollars to illegal immigrants when they feel like they should be taking care of their own legal citizens first. And so there has to be some sort of, I think, happy medium in between, where, let's say, a bleeding heart liberal, okay, can help those who need help. Yet those who are a little bit more conservative can say, well, you know what, as long as they do X, Y, and Z, okay, you know what, fine.
There's certain stipulations.
Have it that way. Correct. And I think and I think what it ends up doing is it holds everyone accountable. And I think it goes good in the long run for not just those DACA recipients, who will benefit tremendously from this program, because they'll feel good that they went through the process and succeeded and became legal citizens of this wonderful nation that we live in, and became productive citizens of this nation. And it will allow those citizens those taxpayers who are already citizens, feel good that they say, hey, you know what? My money went to helping that program, to help those children who are brought here, maybe not necessarily on their own will, the ability to provide a good life for themselves.
Yeah, I agree. I think we definitely need to think about the kids in this situation. We had talked about immigration last week and the homelessness, and how a lot of the homeless are citizens and veterans, and the immigrants are the ones that are doing their due diligence in order to live here, and they have to prove that they're doing their due diligence in order to maintain their status. And the homeless that we see that are veterans and citizens aren't doing anything. They're standing on the corner holding up a sign, or the veterans aren't getting the respect that they deserve from the government. And so it does put an immigrant who's coming to America, it puts into question whether they want to be a part of this society or not. It's the American dream. Do they want to just come over here and do work permit and then go back to help your family? Or do you want to immigrate your entire family and transition from one style of living to a completely different one? And sometimes that's, like you say, children are forced into a lifestyle that they don't want. They grew up in a certain country. Those are where their friends are, their family, everything, and they're going to get torn from that. Obviously, for the parents feel it's for the better good, but they're young and they don't understand. Think about when we move to different cities and all of our friends and family are left behind. We get homesick. So if they've grown up alongside American citizens and have made friends and family, why should we split that up? I think that we should start focusing on family unity instead of division. And that's what our society has focused on. Is you're 18, you get out, you do your own thing, you split away, and it's other cultures that really value family and the family unit. And this, I think, is putting that in question, how Hispanics and or not just Hispanics, but people who are benefiting from DACA, they believe in a family unit. They want to stay together. They don't want to be ripped apart. And it's our American society that's saying, nope, even though you've been here, we're going to rip you apart. I mean, thankfully, that didn't go through. We're going to preface our segment 2 by just letting you know that DACA is still around. It didn't get eliminated by
it did not get
Trump. We're
eliminated.
just kind of talking about the backgrounds
and it has
what
little
would be
by
proposed
little
solutions.
kind of, Trump's, I think, initiatives were, to kind of reduce it little by little. But I know recently he had met with some, pretty high-level Democratic leaders, and they've kind of come to some sort of agreement or some sort of understanding that this is not something that needs to be eliminated or reduced, but actually, it needs to be continued and needs to be supported in some sort of, way, shape, or form. And I think, we need to kind of wait to see what kind of plays out now and see what happens. I know that a lot of the dreamers right now, they are concerned. Rightfully so, and
their livelihood is in jeopardy right now.
And what I would love to hear is if we have any listeners out there who are maybe you are DACA recipients, maybe you know someone, maybe some of you are dreamers, maybe you have your own opinion. Please chime in, chat with us, let us know what's going on our Facebook Live at Go Ham Radio, or on our website at gohamradio.com, and you can also email us at request with an S at the end at gohamradio.com, and let us know what you think or what your take is on the issue, and we would love to hear what some of you think or some of your takes are. We would love to, before we continue with our segment, I think we're going to get into another DJ set now. Yes?
Yeah, I think we're going to take a little break from the heavy talk and just kind of
it's very heavy.
It's pretty heavy. It just
very
kind of gives
heavy.
you something to think about of what's going on. And
Right.
as Street Talk, these are issues that are affecting our neighbors here on the street and our friends. So you as our friends, we want to know, does it affect you? Did it affect your roommates? Does it affect your family? Do you have an opinion on it? In part 2 of Street Talk, we're going to be answering some of your questions and trying to help.
And understanding some of your comments. And so before we get to that, we also want to let you guys know, stay tuned, because we do have the Animal Farm Refuge. We have Matt and Jordan in the house, and they're going to talk to us about their organization and what they have to bring.
Definitely.
So, you know what? This is a great opportunity to get down to some tunes, maybe grab a soda or a beer from the fridge and maybe a snack. Until then, Farg, DJ Roscoe, why don't you guys take it away?
You are now tuned into the movement with Swift Gang here on Street Talk.
All right, welcome back to Street Talk with the Swift Gang. I'm Vinny Cenzo.
And I'm Miss Fancy Pants. Thank you for streaming in with us tonight here via Facebook Live, Go Ham Radio. We just heard DJ Roscoe live on the ones and twos. Thank you, DJ Roscoe. You can catch him every Friday night in his own segment, Jamming with DJ Roscoe. Friday nights, 9:30 to 10 p.m. right here on our Facebook Live, Go Ham Radio page. But what else could they stream throughout the week that we could recommend, Vinny?
All right, so here's the deal, right? Whether you're at work, you're at home, you're bored, you got nothing to do, I have the perfect show,
Okay.
or shows, or documentaries. I'll be featuring this usually every week, okay?
Okay.
That you can tune in on your phone, at home, wherever it's most convenient for you. And this week's show is one of my personal favorites because it actually debuts every season right before my birthday on September 1st.
So it's like a birthday treat for you.
Oh my God, it is like the nightcap to my birthday. Let me just put it that way.
The nightcap to your birthday.
Well,
All
maybe
right.
not the nightcap, but maybe like the pregame to my birthday.
Yeah, I
because
would
it
say the
happens
pregame.
before.
Nightcap.
So it's kind of like
ended early.
way too early.
All right. Well, let
Okay, so it is. So it is. Everyone, I'm sure, like many of you have heard of it. Maybe some of you have seen it. It is called Narcos. Narcos. It is a fantastically fun show. It's very suspenseful. It's very, very intense. A lot of it is in Spanish. It basically follows the storyline. The first 2 seasons, there's 3 seasons out. Season 3 was just released about a month or earlier this month on September 1st. So the first 2 seasons follow Colombian cocaine drug dealer and distributor Pablo Escobar. Now, the show is based on true events. Obviously, some of the events are manufactured for Hollywood purposes, for dramatic purposes. But
course.
for the most part, the series is about, the first 2 seasons, of course, are about Pablo Escobar. Now, the 3rd season, which came out a couple weeks ago, is a continuation of the story after Pablo Escobar is no longer in power. I won't give away what happens because I don't want to give away the show, but it is terrific.
Where can they stream this at?
They can stream this live on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, check it out there. It is a Netflix exclusive.
If you don't have
you don't have
Netflix, you
Netflix-
can email us and I'll give you my passcode.
Yes, or find a
Good
friend.
for
and-
24 hours only.
Find a friend and pirate their Netflix account. But that's what we have for Stream This. Next week, I will have a great feature. I'm really excited for next week's Stream This feature because it's a documentary that I think everybody should watch. It's called Unacknowledged. That's the only the sneak peek that I'll give you. So if you want an opportunity to go watch it before we talk about it next week, Unacknowledged.
Unacknowledged?
Unacknowledged. It is
Okay.
terrific. And that is also available on Netflix.
How long are each of the Narcos episodes? And
So
how
they're
many
all about-
episodes
There's about
episodes in a season?
Yeah, there's about 10 to 13 episodes per season, and
Okay.
they're about 45 to 51 minutes apiece.
Oh, so that's a big binge right there.
Yes, and if you're dedicated like me, you will binge.
In
and
like a day?
binge and binge again.
That's like, you could do that in a day. You could take one Saturday and just spend like,
Just come
what,
home from work
13?
at 9 o'clock at night, and then just don't stop until 6 o'clock the next morning. It's all
Oh
good.
my goodness. Binge. Narco binge.
So that's Stream This. I know that you have some things coming up this weekend. What's going on the streets?
Well, I'm sure a lot of you already are aware that Kaboo is going on at Del Mar Fairgrounds. It started today, but it will continue on Saturday and Sunday. Tickets are pretty pricey. They're $129 a day. You can get 2 days for like $299 or
So if you're a white-collar
$299.
worker out there.
It's pretty pricey. They've got great lineups. Tomorrow they'll have Ice Cube, Logic, Machine Gun Kelly, Pink, and a long list of others.
You know what? Machine Gun Kelly's so overrated.
Anyway,
Blah.
and on Sunday you can catch Jason Derulo, T-Pain, and Pepper. I don't know. Are you familiar with Pepper? Yeah.
Yes, I put it on my eggs very
Oh
often.
my goodness.
Tastes
They're
delicious.
a local reggae band, so check them out. So Kaboo. But the Observatory in North Park, not too far away, they got some pretty good shows coming up early next week. On Monday, they
Okay.
have Little Yachty. Tickets are $29.50. They're still
Reasonable.
available. It's all ages. And the show starts at 7. And then the next day, on Tuesday, they have Sean Paul. Sean Paul.
Oh, I'm signing up for that one.
Well, listen to this. Sean Paul tickets are only $15. Show
That's
starts
it?
at 7 as well. So you could either
Forget
get
you, Yachty.
2
I'm
Sean
going to
Paul
Sean Paul.
tickets for $30.
Yeah.
Yes. And take a date with your man. Or you can go see Little Yachty by yourself and stand in the corner. And
Yes.
maybe you can pull something. Maybe that's what it is. If you are single and ready to mingle, go to Little Yachty, $29.50. And if you have a significant other, bring them to Sean Paul. And that way you're spending the same amount of money, right?
I like it. And you know what? If you're like me and your significant other and you go to Sean Paul, if she's pregnant, you get to drink for 2 all by yourself. It's fantastic.
Oh, my. It's the sympathy drinking, right?
We are ready to party. Sean Paul, I am coming for you. Babe, get your wallet ready.
You know, that would be fun. I don't even know if I work on Tuesday. Right, I don't have a job. This is my job, right? This is all I do. I wish.
That's all you do.
I wish. This is
You know
ham
what?
radio.
If this
This
was all you,
isn't
if this was all you
corporate
did
radio.
and you got paid,
It wouldn't be ham radio anymore, would
it
it?
wouldn't be ham radio, and we wouldn't be doing it at 10 o'clock at night.
8 a.m., right? The Morning Rush coming soon. But that's what I got hitting the streets this weekend. Vinny?
I have a great joke for you.
Is it appropriate?
It is very much appropriate. As a matter of fact, I think our guest, Jordan from the Animal Refuge, would really like this because she's Italian, just like I'm Italian.
Italiana.
And this
Ooh.
joke is kind of a little bit of Italian themed, if
Okay.
you will.
All right.
Okay, so here we
Wow.
go.
All right, I'm ready.
So
Are you
one-
guys ready? Okay.
You guys all ready?
So ready.
Yeah?
I've braced myself. Pay attention.
Farg, DJ, Roscoe,
Maybe
you guys ready?
should speak slowly so that
Slowly. I will speak
so that if
slowly
they're
and
caught
articulately.
in like a freeze stream, they don't miss out.
Let's not miss out.
All right, take it away, Vincenzo.
So, Miss Fancy Pants,
Yes, sir.
a kid walks into a confessional at the church, okay? And he tells the father, "Father, I have sinned. I have been with a loose girl." Terrible, right?
Oh my! How old is this kid? You said kid.
He's a kid.
Maybe I don't even want to know.
He's a kid. Let's not
Okay.
ask. Let's not get into those kinds of details, all right?
I'll think hot. Okay.
So the priest, he asked the young boy, he goes, "Is this you, little Joey Pagano?" "Yes, Father, it is."
Bad little Joey.
Joey, loose girl. I mean, with a name like Joey Pagano, right? So the father asks him, "Who was the girl you were with?" And Joey responds, "I can't tell you, Father. I don't want to ruin her reputation." Good man, right? Why spoil the girl's name? "Well, Joey, I'm sure to find out her name sooner or later," replies the father. "Tell me, was it Tina Minetti?" "I cannot say," the young boy replied. "Was it Teresa Mazzarelli?" asked the priest. "I'll never tell," says the young boy. "Was it Nina Capelli?" asked the father. "I'm sorry, Father, but I cannot tell you her name." "Was it Kathy Perino?"
Jeez.
"My lips are sealed, Father." "Was it Rosa D'Angelo then?" "Please, Father, for the love of God, I can't tell you who it was." So the priest sighs in frustration, right? And he basically gives props to the young boy. He goes, "Listen, you're a very tight-lipped young man, and I admire that. But you've sinned, and you have to, give some sort of penance. You cannot be an altar boy for 4 months, and you have to say 5 Our Fathers and 4 Hail Marys. Now go, behave yourself," right?
Fair enough.
So Joey walks away, right? He walks back to the pew. He's going to go do his penance. He's going to say his 5 Our Fathers and 4 Hail Marys. And he turns over to his friend Franco. And Franco sees that he comes back from confession, and Franco looks over him and he goes, "So, Joey, what'd you get?" And Joey goes, "All right, Franco, here's the deal, right? I got 4 months of vacation and 5 good leads."
Oh
And
my
that,
goodness.
ladies and gentlemen, is our joke of the night.
Oh
Go
my
get him,
goodness.
Joey. Go get him, Joey and Franco. You two sons of guns, you.
Oh my goodness. So he made all of that up just so he can get the names of 5 girls that he could potentially now feel up or do whatever with. And he's got 4 months off of altar boying.
He
That's-
is a winner.
He is a clever young kid. Clever kid.
Speaking of winners, we actually have our first ever Go Ham Radio contest winner.
Yes, that's right. If you follow us on Facebook, which you should, I don't know why you wouldn't,
Go Ham Radio.
you would be able to see all of the posts that we put up. And last week we did a social media post. If you can catch the discrepancy, then you would win one of our prize packs.
So what we did was we posted 2 pictures. They were side by side. One, they were photos of the social media outlets for 2 local sports radio stations here in town.
Okay.
Now, if you know anything about me, I'm a huge sports junkie, so that's kind of where we get the bias from.
I know nothing of sports.
Nothing. And they had conflicting statements in their statements, each one of their
Or
pages.
conflicting bios.
Conflicting bios. So if you were able to figure out that there was a conflicting bio, you won a very fantastic Go Ham Radio prize pack, which included some magnets, stickers, and an opportunity to co-host Street Talk with the Swift Gang at a later date. And this week we had our first winner. It is one of our P1s, Mr. David Anton II. So
Hey,
congratulations,
congratulations,
David.
David.
You are our winner. You correctly identified the issue with our social media contest post. So thank you so much. Listeners, please like our page, share our page with your friends and family. We're going to have an opportunity to give away some great prizes coming up. I am working on, and you know what? Take this as a promise. We are going to be giving away for the month of October, because it is Halloween. We're going to be giving away not Scary Farm, but we are going to be giving away Haunted Hotel,
Ooh, haunted hotel tickets.
Scream Zone
Scream
at
Zone.
the Del Mar Fair,
Ooh.
and Haunted Trail tickets all month for those who can identify the correct answer during our social media contests this month. So please share with your friends, tell your friends, like our page, share our page, let them all know this is their way to get into some really cool events here in San Diego for free. And all they got to do is just figure out the problem and email us.
Very cool. Well, on tonight's show, I've got a little riddle for our guests and our
Say
listeners.
what?
Yes, in our Say What section. So I'm going to ask you a little riddle.
Riddle me this, Batman.
And if you can figure it out, email us the answer at requests@gohamradio.com. And we have a prize pack for you. And this week, we're going to be giving away a Farm Animal Refuge homemade soap, as well as a bracelet.
Oh
that you
my
guys can.
God, that smells great. I cannot wait to take a shower.
We have
I've never
geranium.
been so excited for a shower before in my life.
We
Oh,
have
good
read what
Lord.
that flavor is so they know what they can
this
get.
is jasmine.
So they have
Sweet mother of
jasmine,
God.
geranium. What are these?
She must have knew to give me the jasmine because I love
Citrus
jasmine.
blend, lavender. This is not for you. This is unless you get it right. Well, no, you can't. You can't apply. All right. So before
Oh my God.
before we take a break and we actually get to
This is great.
Farm Animal Refuge, let me ask my trivia question for the night. So, or a riddle. The riddle is: are you ready?
Ready as can be.
What occurs once in a minute,
Once.
twice in a moment,
Twice.
and never in 1,000?
Never.
Again, what occurs once in a minute, twice in a moment, and never in 1,000? Email your answers to requests@gohamradio.com, and we'll have that prize pack ready for you.
So stay tuned, and after the break, like we mentioned before, make sure you guys tune in to us for our exclusive interview with the the Farm Animal Refuge from Campo, California. We're so excited to have Matt and Jordan here today. So you guys think about that riddle, email us, stay tuned, exclusive interview coming right up. You're listening to Street Talk with the Swift Gang on GoHamRadio.com.
You're listening to Street Talk with the Swift Gang.
This is a GoHamRadio.com exclusive.
This is Chance, Rudy, and Matt, and we're from Farm Animal Refuge.
Thank you guys so much for visiting us today. If you want to find us online, our website is www.farmanimalrefuge.org.
Welcome back to Street Talk with the Swift Gang. I'm Miss Fancy Pants.
And I'm Vincenzo.
All right, and here on Go Ham Radio, we like to give opportunity, help, and mentorship. So tonight, as one of our special guest features, we have invited Jordan and Matt on to be able to explain to us more about being vegan, their lifestyle change because of it, and maybe bring a little bit more awareness to animal rights, farm animal awareness, since it will be farm
I think
animal
it'd be fair to call them animal activists.
Animal activists. I would agree. All right. Well, why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us kind of how you guys met?
So my name's Matt. So me and Jordan have known each other and lived together for almost 10 years now.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, way back in the day. And her compassion and her love for everything really inspired me, and I think she was one of my biggest influences I've had to kind of just progress on this path, and it started so long ago. But with me and her together, we've really created a relationship to set us up for where we are now, right now.
Right. So how long have you guys been vegan?
So it's going on 8 years plus. The definition of vegan is definitely different to everybody.
Sure.
So there are also the non-eating animals and animal products is part of it, but there's also a progression and that everyone has to make, or not has to make, but they can choose to make with cosmetic products, cleaning products, clothing, and things like that. So to define like when we went would be one thing, but we're always on our path, and still today we're always progressing and trying to get better at the same time.
So I got a quick question before you get into your next question, Miss Fancy Pants. So my question is, would you say that becoming vegan or maybe changing your lifestyle to a more vegan lifestyle is a process instead of something that's like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to try to lose 10 pounds this week. So you know what? I'm going to stop eating sugar and carbs and this, and that. Would you say that it takes a little bit of time? There's definitely a transition for it.
I think it depends on the person. I know.
Right into the mic there.
I think it depends on the person. I think everybody does it a little differently. I think definitely for me it was a process. You know, I was vegetarian for a long time before I was vegan. I cut all kinds of animal products out of my diet before I really focused on household products.
So let me stop you actually right there, because I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions. And she said it right there. What is the difference between a vegetarian and a vegan? Because I can't tell you how many times that I've run into people that say, well, I'm a vegetarian. I eat nothing but vegetables. And then, I hear a vegan and they say, well, I am a vegan. I eat nothing but vegetables. For someone who's maybe not as maybe in tune with what, the two different, is there a difference, or are they the same thing?
There's a big difference. I started as a vegetarian. I think generally people that start as vegetarians, they're aware of animal rights. They want to make a difference. They don't want to eat animals, and then being vegan is something that comes with a little bit more knowledge. Like, I don't think a lot of people know about. I know, like, one of our rescues is a dairy calf.
Okay.
We get a lot of questions about her, like, what are you going to do with her milk? You're vegan. You're not going to drink milk. And I think a lot of people don't know, cows have to have a baby. Just like humans to have milk.
Right.
And all those babies become waste. At least 50% of them that are male become waste. So by eating cheese, by drinking milk, we're supporting the veal industry. So I think a lot of people that are vegan or vegetarian naturally become vegan when they learn more things like that. But, as someone who's a vegetarian, I think it's basically just a knowledge thing. Like, a lot of people don't know cows don't just make milk. They don't think about 50% of chickens that are born as male are trash.
Right.
They're not doing it. So by, contributing to these industries, we're still essentially paying for slaughter of these animals.
So what gave you the idea to start a farm animal refuge?
We've both been very compassionate over the years, and have always, me and her together have always had crazy ideas and big thoughts and big things that we were going to do. And this is one that we started talking about, and it just kept coming up. Like, some of the things that we talk about seem really extreme at first, because that's just how we are. But everyone around us was supporting this idea. Her family was incredibly supportive of it. And this idea just coming up, you know. I've always wanted to have a rescue for dogs and stuff like that, because I never would even imagine that I would be available to do something like that. And learning about all this stuff, it became way more important. And so I think, it came into fruition because of all the support that we've had from a lot of the people around us.
I think too, something we really wanted to be available to do is to invite people to come out and to meet the animals. Like, I think, you know, a lot of people, they think about a cow as being a cow and a dog as being a pet. You know, a cow is food, a dog is pet, and we wanted to really have a place where people could come meet a cow and see, you know, my cows play fetch. You know, my pigs sit for treats. You met my pigs, you know.
Right.
You know, I have a baby goat that wants to cuddle and sleep in bed with me, and they act so much like dogs, and I think a lot of us don't get that, you know, time. We don't get that experience of being with a cow, being with a pig, being with a goat, and really being able to notice that they do act the same as the animals that we think are pets.
You know, and I think that's a really valid point, and I think that goes to different cultures. Because I think a great case in point would be here in the United States, we have a culture that looks at animals such as dogs and cats as domesticated pets. However, you go to countries in Asia, such as Korea or China, and they look at animals like dogs and cats as food. Now, here in the United States, we look at cows as a main source of food. And in many European nations, they look at cows as a source of food. However, you visit a country like India, and they worship the cow. And the cow is one of the most sacred animals in the universe. So I think it's really unique, and it's very interesting to kind of take a look at how different cultures look at different animals in different ways.
And some cultures don't eat pork.
At all whatsoever.
So the pig then is Go Ham. Hey, shout out to Hogan, our mascot here at Go Ham, for holding down the set for all the pigs.
Hogan the ham.
Hogan the ham hog. We're gonna get him out on the street soon and get some video footage that we'll be able to show you. But that's speaking way too in the future. But I guess so. Your longtime goal then would be what with the farm to I guess what was your long-time goal now that it's here?
So it changes day by day and month to month. You know, we're really feeling about what's out there and what we can maintain ourselves, because we never want to get too big. But our ultimate goal is to have people out there and have that information available. Not everyone wants to hear it, not everyone wants to see it, but we feel in San Diego specifically there's not that availability for the information or the interaction with these agricultural animals. And so our ultimate goal is to be at a place where we can have, and we do, every Sunday we have tours set by appointment that you can come out and meet all of the animals on an individual basis and get their stories and really learn that. And so our goal is just to get as many people out there while maintaining the lifestyle that the animals need to.
Is there a charge to come see these animals every Sunday?
So we do charge normally $10 a head, or if you buy a t-shirt or any kind of retail, and then larger parties obviously we're going to work with and things like that.
Yeah, you can message us on any of our social media platforms, Facebook or Instagram, that you want to set up a tour. We do different discounts for large groups. We're willing to set anything up. You know, our goal is for people to come out there, and it's always individual. It's a good thing too. It's not this tour that you show up to and there's 20 people there and everybody pays $10. It's always individual. It's predominantly with me 95% of the time. So it's individual with, you know, me and 2 people or me and 4 people. And I think that's really important for me and for the animals too, to be able to have an experience with, you know, 2 people at a time or 4 people at a time instead of being overwhelmed by large groups. You know, when we do have parties, we're able to accommodate. We just split it up usually into 2 groups, and then Matt or anybody else on the, you know, the staff will get involved.
Now, I know you guys have, you know, all sorts of different animals on your farm. I'm sure we're going to have listeners out there who are going to probably come and visit your guys' farm.
I visited the farm.
Okay.
I actually went out last Friday and visited the farm and took the footage that you guys saw. So I got to meet every single one of the animals, and I could probably name all of them off, but you can quiz me on that.
Can you name the pig?
Which one?
All of them.
There are 5 pigs.
5 pigs. Go ahead, spit them off.
Thor, Rudy, Harmony, Diamond, and Firecracker.
And we are going to sponsor one of those 5 pigs.
We are. One
right?
of those lucky 5 pigs is going to be sponsored by
I'm so
Go Ham
excited.
Radio.
And they're going to be one of our official mascots, yeah?
Yeah, we'll be able
We'll
to, as a gang, go out there and take photos
wait.
and
We
maybe.
should have brought him. You should have told us.
I don't.
I
Well,
mean,
you know
unless it was
what?
Firecracker, he would have just knocked everything over.
Right. If you guys took a look at our video, you can always rewind us back later after we've ended and check them out. But Firecracker is red. Harmony and Diamond are the sisters. They're black and white. Rudy is all pink. And Thor is the one with the fangs.
Oh, we should get Thor.
So I'm thinking I might want Thor. He's
Thor.
pretty badass. He's
There we go.
black. I think
Oh.
Bagheera would appreciate him.
Yes.
So once we do sponsor him, you can go on to our website and we'll actually put him on the Swift Gang. So if you go to our page, Street Talk with the Swift Gang, you'll be able to see our gang bios. And it's got every one of our bios, but we'll also add, I think we'll go with Thor. We'll get Thor and we'll sponsor him.
Well, you know what?
We'll do a headshot, get him all nice and pretty.
I love
And
it.
you guys can also click on the link and go to the Farm Animal Refuge website and be able to see other animals. And if you're interested in adopting, you can reach out to them as well.
Thor has
Okay,
a
And
great
that's
I'm
what,
story.
and that's
Yeah.
what, and that's kind of what
Are
I
you gonna
wanted
tell
to get
Thor's
into.
story? Okay,
Was
we'll
well, before we get into maybe Thor's story, real quickly, Jordan, Matt, maybe you guys can give us a little bit of insight. If there are farm animals, you go up there, you're gonna visit one of these animals. You're gonna fall in love with one of them, and before you leave, you're gonna want to sponsor and help out one of these animals. So, how does the process work? Is there a certain cap on the animals? Can as many families try to help out a particular animal, or do you guys have maybe some animals in your farm right now that need some sponsorship and need some help as far as being taken care of or being claimed as hey, this is our
Are
animal
any of them
refuge.
sponsored then, I would
so
say?
we're actually a very new rescue. The only one that's sponsored actually right now is Grace.
Okay.
One of our cows, and it's not her full monthly bill that's sponsored, and we accept any donations. Some people can donate $5, some people can donate $50. There can be a cap if somebody wants to say, this is my animal, I want to donate everything for this animal.
Sure.
So we're happy to accommodate that, obviously.
Where can
Right.
they go to donate?
but
Didn't I
smaller
see that you had like
amounts.
a GoFundMe or something like that?
We don't
Or-
have a GoFundMe as of right now. We do have a PayPal.
Oh, very
you can
cool.
See the link in
Yes.
both of our social medias. Our website is in process. Like I said, we're very.
What are
new.
those social media websites? You have a
They
Facebook
can
and an
go-
Instagram, right?
It's at Farm Animal Refuge on both.
At Farm Animal Refuge on both Facebook and
And
And-
you're able to
Instagram.
send
And
us a message to get the forms if they do want to sponsor. Any
Yeah,
animal.
and if you like to, I've also actually copy and pasted the website on my Instagram post
Oh,
at the
okay.
Vincenzo Rufino, and you can check that out and also go on there and be able to click on there and give them donations or be able to sponsor any sort of animal that you like. So check out check out our post for this week's show, and the link is available there for you guys to check out and donate.
And we do want to invite your listeners and you guys
Oh.
to come visit Thor. Whatever. I'm glad he's your guys' animal.
Oh, Rudy's the pink one, right?
Rudy's
Rudy's
the
the
pink
big
one.
one.
I don't know,
Thor's
man.
are-
Do you want
Thor,
Rudy
see,
now?
I like a real vicious pig,
You
but then
want
at the
pink one
same
just
time,
like
I want a
Hogan.
I want a real pink
I think you would
pig,
get along
like-
great with Thor.
Yeah, I don't know. Thor and I, with a name like Thor, you got to be upfront and aggressive with myself. I could be a little.
He could be
upfront
part of the
and abrasive.
gang, right? We need
Yeah, I
somebody
like
with some
that.
depth.
Yeah,
Tell
he-
Thor's story.
So yeah,
Yeah,
Thor-
tell
let's hear
story.
it. Let's
Thor's
hear it.
story.
Thor is a cool story, and it's almost a classic story. There's like this myth of mini pigs right now, or teacup pigs, which are not existent. They're potbellies that are either malnourished or specifically bred to be smaller. A lot of potbelly or not potbelly, teacup or mini pig breeders will tell you they'll get 60, 65 pounds when they grow up, and they end up being a lot larger. So we get calls all the time. We are in a potbelly network in San Diego that get these surrenders all the time because people get these cute little pigs that they think are going to be just like dogs. They're going to be perfectly small, and they're not. Mini pig and teacup pig is not a thing. So Thor's parents had him. They had him in an unstable rental position where they had to move. Yes, maybe that one place that you're at right now allows pigs, but there's very few other places that are. So if that place follows through, you end up calling all of these other rescues who are all capped. We're all full. We all try to do as much as possible. And so he's he's definitely a classic story.
So Thor has a lot of feelings, you know, he's our guy with a lot of feelings. Like, he gets really grumpy, he gets really sad, you know, we have to give them all vaccinations.
I definitely get grumpy. I definitely get sad.
That's why I said
He's an adult his own.
I like
he's
this guy
basically
already.
An Italian, you know?
Oh, okay, I get it.
If he could have
If Vincenzo was a pig,
Yeah.
he'd be
It
Thor.
would be Thor,
All right.
yeah. So
They're like
Thor-
twins.
Yeah, he gets his feelings hurt. It took us a really long time for him to open up to us. A lot of our animals came to us really young, so they kind of fit right in. Thor, it took him a lot longer, so he still gets a little grumpy sometimes when people, you know, want to love on him. But once he lets you in, he's our sweetest pig.
Yeah, he let me feed him squash, but he did not like the pumpkin, you know. And
He's
then
particular.
he's very particular, but he was so cute. I was like, oh, and he yawned, and it was just so cute, so cute. I like that we've gotten Thor. I'm pretty excited.
So could you tell us maybe a little bit of maybe some of the situations that maybe you rescue some of these animals from? I mean, obviously within the limits that you're allowed to speak in. You know, obviously some animals come from, you know, situations where they're being overfed or they're meant for slaughter and they're being overfed or whatnot. Some of them, maybe they're born with deformities and, you know, their parents or the slaughterhouses or the manufacturers maybe don't want them. Those might be the two most obvious situations or scenarios that maybe some of our listeners could understand or relate to. But maybe what are some other situations that maybe you guys have found yourselves taking in animals from obscure, you know, homes?
Yeah. So all of our last three came from a program called FFA. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
Not at all.
It's Future Farmers of America. So these kids, they get these animals from babies.
in high school programs and school programs
Yeah.
specifically.
in these agricultural programs in school that they're trying
They're
to
getting credits for, they're getting graded on, and they're
kind of like the ROTC,
Yeah.
but this time it's focused.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of, you know, there's actually quite a few high schools here in San Diego that have an agricultural program.
Isn't it El Cap?
El
Yeah, or
Capitan.
Yeah, that's where I
4-H.
went. That's right. Yeah, I graduated San Marcos.
So they take these animals, and a lot of kids join because, you know, they want this experience with an animal. They're animal lovers.
Right.
You know, they want to, I want to bottle feed a baby goat. That sounds like a great idea, you know. And they raise these animals, and, you know, at the end of the class, they're supposed to take them to auction. So obviously at auction, they go, you know, to slaughterhouses or, you know, to farmers who are going to breed them. And a lot of these kids, you know, change their minds last second. They don't know how to get out. So we were lucky enough to get in touch with 3 kids that, you know, were able to find a way out. That was our last 3. We do have another calf, like we said earlier, Gracie. I know it's your mom's name too, so it's a special name.
Mom, we're not slaughtering you tonight.
And
Never.
you know, Gracie
Disclaimer.
Came from the dairy industry. I know I touched on that earlier, the difference between vegetarian and vegan. And you know, a lot of these calves, the boy calves, are waste, as well as any girls with any deformities. So Gracie had a hernia on her stomach. It would have been harder for them to breed her. So any calf like that that's born, since the dairy cows have to have a baby every year to be able to keep producing milk, become waste. So we were able to get her because she would have been essentially waste. Same thing with Chance, the goat that you saw in the video. That is all wrapped up in our little prints of the
Baby Chance.
farm.
That's who you have on your shirt as well, right,
I'm
Matt?
sure, yeah. So Chance and a couple of her girls actually.
Isn't there
also,
something on the back too?
There's Chance Pit Crew on the back.
Very
Oh,
cool.
nice.
See that?
We need to
Right.
get that. We need to get Chance some jet fuel so I can.
Oh, and his new wheelchair, he basically has jet fuel. He's loving
Yeah,
it.
he's
Yeah,
pretty
he's got a
fast.
new wheelchair. He's loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw the new wheelchair on the video, and he got some speed. Jordan was running off with the food. He loves animal crackers, so he was going after the
I
animal
love animal crackers.
We all
We
love
could-
animal
we could
crackers.
be friends for sure.
Those are probably
I'm
the
gonna
only
have to-
animals that he'll eat, right?
They
You
are
know what?
vegan. They are vegan. They are vegan. They
You know
maybe
what?
shape like animals, but there's none of them.
You know what? I might have to give up human friends and just go over to the farm and just make friends with all these. Sounds like Thor and Grace are my new best
It
friends.
took us a lot to get out
Animal
here.
crackers
We
and
understand
moody
what you're
behavior.
saying.
We're in the good place right now.
So you guys said that you were new. So how long has it taken to get from one of your crazy ideas to where you're at now? How long has the process been?
So we've been at the property for a little bit over a year now. We got it August
Okay.
1st of 2016.
Okay,
So
congratulations, a year.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. So we, from our idea and everything with the support, it kind of became one where like we would kind of spend our days off just kind of like meddling in it and doing things, and we started kind of looking at properties and other things. And I think once we found this property. Jordan found it on like a very obscure like farmer website that's like not super. So we drove by it and we're like, let's go look at it. And then we had to like lie to the realtor because we weren't even like in the process of selling the house to have finance. So we were like, yeah, we have financing. We just wanted to look. We just wanted to look at it. So we went there and we looked, and both of us were like, this is. We're pretty like this is it. And it's in Campo. It's basically an hour from Central San Diego, and we didn't want to go that far. Because we both work in town every day. So we found this property. We were like, all right, maybe this is it. We brought the family out there, and they just all loved it. So from talking about it to where it seems like a ridiculous time frame, but it was probably a year and a half, maybe 2 years, from kind of coming with this idea to doing it. Our passion and our hard work and our love for everything has just inspired it and gave everybody around us such confidence in us, which we are so appreciative about. That we think was why expedited the process so much.
Well, that's great. So a year, that's really great. Like, what can you do in 365 days? I mean, you can make a dream a reality. And that's really what you guys have done, is you've made your dreams a reality. And that's a great place to be in life. You know, it's just a great place. Every day, you might have to go to work,
Absolutely.
but you're doing what you feel your purpose is. And it's amazing.
You know what, and it's great, you know, and that's kind of like, you know, much like what they're doing. That's what we're doing here on Go Ham Radio as well, too. You know, we stand for growth, opportunity, hope, and mentorship. And, you know, our focus and our goal is to make sure that, you know, we help local organizations, much like the Animal Farm Refuge here, to find a voice and a way to get their business and their name heard, so that other people in our community can be able to help other local businesses and other local artists or whatever that we bring here on the show. And so, you know, it's a great opportunity for us as locals to make a change. You know, while it not might be on a global scale, we can certainly be a difference here in our communities here. And I think it's a great way to start. So if you like to visit and sponsor an animal,
Go check out their IG.
Check out their Instagram. And they have their PayPal account up there. They have a whole list of all their animals that you can sponsor. Set up a time to see these animals. They're
Sundays,
amazing.
right? Sundays
are the
Sundays.
best, but we can make it work for any group and things like that.
And
so if you just message us, we're absolutely willing to make it work. We're also looking for volunteers to help with Chance and his wheelchair training, as well as
part of the Chance Pit crew.
Start the Chance Pit crew, and as well as
There you
halter
go.
training for others. So there are opportunities to get involved and actually do things there, or if you just want to come and rub pig bellies and visit the animals, that's fine too. We can
So
make
all of
anybody work.
all of our college students who are looking for internships right now that are studying, you know, veterinarian or some sort of agricultural degree,
We've got the place
hit
for
these
you.
guys up. Okay, get your internship credits there. Get your ability to hang out with some pretty cool animals as well too. I actually can't. I need to meet Thor now.
Right.
This
He'll meet him, don't
this
you worry.
is a must. I need to meet Thor. I need to meet Rudy. I need to meet Grace.
I think Harmony is really going to like this guy.
Harmony.
Yeah, Harmony's
I don't
going
know,
to be...
Harmony is super particular. She
I
really
think-
only likes me back
Oh,
one
well,
other
you see, I'm
person.
super particular as well
Yeah.
too. So I think maybe that's why
She
Harmony.
likes Italians.
Oh, perfect.
Hey,
Perfect.
You better
Perfect.
let Tiffany know she got us a competition. Hey. Well, let me ask you this. You got your PayPal up so that we can be able to support you and others. But thus far, who have been your biggest supporters emotionally, financially? You know, who's really helped you to get to this point?
Jordan's family has been like such a pivotal part of actually helping us like obtain our goal. But then the community and our friends as well have been so supportive. Being where we were a year ago when we first moved in, where we talked about we wanted to go a lot slower because we are self-funded to the most part, and the day-to-day is all between us. But seeing that complete outreach of the community that just wants to help, we get calls all the time of people that want to come, has really inspired us and helped us create this position that we're at. So I would say, like, specifically it has been a dozen people that have helped us, but like in San Diego, just in general, there's been hundreds of people that have inspired us and encouraged us to even be where we're at this
even
point.
just having visitors come out and say, you know, like, I gave up beef after coming out there, and I met Grace. Like, that even is just so much emotional support. We did get a lot of support from our friend Carly. From Vegan in San
Absolutely,
Diego.
absolutely.
She's really helped us out. She runs a page for vegans in San Diego and does, you know.
Very cool. Which you were wearing a shirt right? Vegans in
Yes,
San
I
Diego.
From the
Yeah.
Oh, in the video.
Yeah.
So, let's see. It takes about an hour to get out there. Didn't you guys say that you offer yoga classes or something like that?
So that's a new thing
Wait,
we're
see
trying.
animals and do yoga?
Hey,
With the
Who
animal.
needs a
Namaste.
gym
With the
membership?
animals.
Who needs a pet? Sponsor an animal and you get a free gym membership at the same time. This is
Hey.
great. Oh man.
So it's a new thing we're
not
trying.
gonna
We
be
have
fat
a date
anymore.
in September as well as in October. You can see both of those on our Instagram page. We are going to be doing yoga. There's going to be a meet and greet with all the animals after, and a picnic. You could just bring a plant-based lunch of any kind.
A plant-based lunch of any kind. No
yeah, so
meat.
no ham sandwiches, no
And
turkey
it's
sandwiches.
No
because-
mayonnaise, no
it's not
cheese.
because we're judgy vegans. It's
Yeah.
because we want to do it out of respect for the animals. We don't
Right.
want, Rudy coming up and saying, okay, that's a meat
A
sandwich.
big-
You know what's
Go with
great?
a salad.
Yeah, go
Salad
with
or
salad.
fruit.
You know what's
If you have
great?
any questions, we're happy to help
Yeah.
you.
Email them. Is this lunch appropriate?
I will give you a recipe.
I absolutely
Maybe you should start offering
love,
sack lunches.
I absolutely love Matt and Jordan because I don't think we're going to have time to get into it today because we've already blown the clock way out of proportion.
We have. It's
Okay.
pretty late.
And we're
Thank you
gonna
for
start
tuning
we're
in.
gonna start wrapping it up here pretty soon. However, I want to, as a meat eater myself, okay. Now, but I come from a different breed of people because I
Meat
come from the mentality of, I actually had and raised my own livestock when I was younger with my family. We slaughtered animals. There was a whole different process.
Murderer.
Right.
The
As you know what, but
murderer.
you know what? On the surface, that's what it looks like. Okay. Now, Matt and Jordan and I have been able to sit here throughout the duration of our 2 hours in between our breaks, and we have been able to have the most productive dialogue that I wish we could have had on air. Okay. And I hope that we can bring them back maybe, and maybe next time when they come back, they bring Thor.
And
Or
maybe
Rudy.
maybe
Or
maybe
Grace.
we stream
Or
live from the farm.
Harmony.
You guys can definitely
Yeah,
shoot
you know,
live.
and we'll
Do
stream
you guys have
live.
Wi-Fi on the
but-
farm?
It's very limited.
In the
Very
house, though, we're
limited.
good.
But you know what?
Maybe we'll have to do a video that you guys can watch later,
We would
and
love.
we'll
We
invite
would definitely,
you.
absolutely. Love
We
it.
can
What-
definitely invite some of them.
You know what? I think that'd be
bring them in
great.
the studio.
I think that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
And what I really want to, what I was alluding to was to say, ladies and gentlemen, all of our listeners out there, please, be open-minded. Be able to accept other people's ideas, other people's thoughts, other people's lifestyles. Just because Jordan and Matt are vegan and they're very, very passionate about what they do, I was able to explain to them my points of views. Being someone who can never be vegan, not never, that might be wrong to say, but as someone who chooses not to be vegan,
All right.
how I still respect and appreciate not only what they're doing, but also I think how they respect and appreciate my viewpoints as someone who looks at animals and the sacrifice that animals give us to feed us. Now, without getting too deep into it,
I mean,
the
they
big
both
point-
started as meat eaters too.
I think
so
I
they
think
do
the
have
big
some
I think
compassion.
I think the big issue here, where I think all three of us can agree on, all four of us, maybe all five of us
Six.
can agree on. Six? Is
One,
there
two,
six of
three,
us?
four,
here?
five,
We
six
got another
of us.
vegetarian in the house too.
Hey, Bard the vegetarian. Hey.
Is that there is a common there's a common ideology that a lot of people, a lot of citizens around the world, that they do not take into consideration how these animals are treated when they're being raised, slaughtered, and butchered. And what I think that a lot of people need to come to realize is whether you choose to be vegan or not, okay, is regardless of what you do in life, you give everything its due respect. You give everything the type of love and appreciation that it deserves, because we are all connected, whether it be a rock, a tree, an animal, an insect.
I'm getting flashbacks of like a Disney movie.
But I know every rock and tree and creature has a life, has a spirit, has a name.
And we are all here, for some sort of purpose, and we're here for some sort of reason.
I think it's Pocahontas.
It might be Pocahontas.
I think
the
it
colors
was,
of the
which-
wind.
Yeah, that's what it is. That was
Every
my
rock,
vision.
every tree.
That's what
But-
it was. Was you quoting that? I
Did
knew
I
I
quote-
heard
did I
that
quote-
somewhere.
did I
Pocahontas?
just quote
That's all I
Pocahontas?
want to know.
In my defense, I have a 3-year-old son who
It
randomly
must be
throws on
detailed.
videos.
It may-
Who randomly throws on videos on Netflix.
Could be a
Maybe
worse.
I-
Blame
Could
it
be a
on
worse
the
one.
Pocahontas.
Maybe I
Blame
did
it on
quote
the Pocahontas.
Pocahontas.
Vinny, I
But
do
you-
think what you're saying is really important.
But where I'm getting at is we can all joking aside, I think we can all find a way to where we can, respect each other's lives and souls and what we give, because I truly do believe that animals have souls. They do have feelings, absolutely they do. But and at the same time, maybe it may not happen in our lifetime, and so forgive me if this may come off a bit ignorant to some of our vegan and vegetarian folks out there. But you know what? Everybody or everything has its purpose in this world. And as long as we treat everybody and everything with the respect and honor that it deserves, then you know what? We should feel okay with what we're trying to do and what we're trying to accomplish. And that's why I give such big props and kudos to these folks, because they are taking animals who are being completely disrespected, okay? And they're being completely abused, and providing them a type of life and environment in which they can thrive and feel safe and be okay in, and truly be honored in the way that they need to be honored.
Yeah, and I do think there's something to be said for, everybody has a different idea of what level of respect anybody or any animal deserves. Like,
Absolutely.
I think some people would say, this animal deserves respect. It doesn't deserve to be raised in a factory farm. It should be raised in open pastures, before it's eaten.
Grass-fed
right? And then
things.
there's people like, Matt and I that think, this animal is a sentient being. This animal had a father, a daughter, it had a family, it had a herd. Like, we don't think that there's any respectful way to eat that cow. Do you know what I mean? And that is a
Absolutely.
difference of
Take
opinion.
that life.
Yeah.
But I think that everybody has their different level of respect that they feel comfortable with. And I think something that we touched on earlier, unfortunately off the air, was, just being knowledgeable, and that's something that
Absolutely.
we really want to do. Is we're not here saying, go vegan or else, We're saying,
And
just so you know, when you do this, this is happening. And we
You
just
know
want
what
people to
Your
be aware.
actions have an effect.
You know what
Because
I think-
even
Aware.
Nicole, when you told him he was a murderer, which is arguably true in my book,
but you're okay.
in the same note, when you buy a chicken sandwich, you're doing the same thing. You're just paying somebody else to do it.
To do the murdering.
So I think what
I've
we
hired a
want to do
hitman.
is be able to say,
Ugh,
here's this
narcos.
pig. If you eat bacon, that was this pig. Or if you choose to buy milk and cheese, that was grace. That's a Catholic grace happening, and we just want to make people aware of that, and let them make their own decisions after that. We respect whatever decisions are made, as long as people
And I
know
love-
where their
And I love
facts
that,
are
and
coming
I love
from.
I love the ability that we have, that we have folks like you who are able to kind of make the general public who have been literally shepherded into thinking one sort of way and not being able to respect and appreciate the animals and certainly the situation
Convenience
in a
and
different way.
lifestyle
And I think,
pressures us.
and I swear, we need to have them back, because I feel like we can spend a whole nother 2 or 3 segments talking about this and having some really productive and great dialogue. Because I think one of the common misconceptions is that, all vegans are, they have a certain way of thinking. Right. Just like all people who eat meat have a certain way of thinking. There is absolutely no one way of thinking. Just like there's no one type of Republican and there's no one type of Democrat. Everyone is capable of having their own thoughts and ideas and their own interpretation of how things should be. And I think what we found here tonight was the ability to share different ideologies and understand that there is a certain level of appreciation and acceptance between all the different ideologies. Because I think at the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, we're all here to honor the animals, whether it be through saving them from a very aggressive situation, or maybe putting them on the plate to consume, but in the most appropriate fashion possible. And that leaves us to the ability to have further conversation. And I would love to have these guys back and have more conversation about that. I know we're blowing the clock. We're 12:30. We're over it right
12:30.
now. Can we cut to a quick break and then maybe come back and wrap everything up?
Yeah, why don't we do a quick break? Why don't you give them a little sports rundown, and then we'll finish up our discussion here with Farm Animal Refuge and close out our segment. So give us about 10 more minutes, but real quick, we're going to do a quick PSA break and be right back to Vinny Cenzo with the sports.
And this is Go Ham Radio.
You are now tuned into the movement with Swift Gang here on Street Talk.
All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Street Talk with the Swift Gang. I'm Vinny Cenzo, and my co-host, Miss Fancy Pants, Fargo, the engineer, and DJ Roscoe Live. We have our special guest, the Farm Animal Refuge is in town today. And before we get into our closing remarks, I'd like to give you guys a quick little update as far as sports. It's our quick little sports segment that we got going on. So this weekend here in baseball, Major League Baseball, it is the last couple weekends of baseball. So if you guys are interested in going out and seeing your local teams, such as the Padres, Dodgers, Angels, Giants, wherever you are here in the world that you're watching us, go out there and check out your teams before the sports season ends. What's really great about that is that you have the ability to get some really free or some discounted items usually at the end of the season for these baseball teams, any kind of swag, jerseys, or whatnot. Tomorrow at, I believe, 5:15 p.m., the San Diego State Aztecs are taking on the Stanford Cardinal at what was formerly known as Qualcomm Stadium. I know San Diego officials are still trying to decide what the official name of the stadium will be. Also, we have high school football.
Hey, shout out to high school football.
So my Valhalla Norsemen are on a bye week this week. There's no game. That's your sports update.
All right. Well, we do have Matt and Jordan still in the building. So why don't we ask them our last couple of questions that we have and then do our final shout outs, and you guys can say your shout outs and any closing remarks, and maybe you can name off the animals and just kind of let them know who's available, and that way they can go
Absolutely.
and sponsor and give you all the money they need.
So I think one of the questions that we got from one of our listeners were, how many animals so far have you guys saved?
So agriculture animals, right now we've saved 13, and we have a couple dogs as well. But that number, yes, we've saved those many on the farm, but the outreach and the education part of it, we feel like that number is a lot higher, and it's uncalculable. You know, just between me and her being vegan, we've saved dozens, if not hundreds, of animals with our diet, and educating the public is where we think we can make our biggest impact. Yes, we love our animals; those ones are always going to have a great life. But the educational part of it, we feel like is going to make the greatest impact, and the more animals saved.
For every animal we could afford to take, if someone comes out and they say, you know, after meeting this pig, I've given up bacon, that saves so many other animals that, like, you know, it would be impossible for us to save that
calculate.
many. Yeah.
So, you know, obviously, besides farm animals, you mentioned dogs. Are there any other animals that you guys also rescue or save?
So we have a bunch of wild animals on the property as well that we protect. We have a pigeon coop, we have a dove coop, snakes on the property we encourage as long as they're not poisonous, which we don't kill, we remove. But there are a lot of wild animals as well as we help neighbors.
We found a scorpion. The other day.
Scorpion, yeah. Which we
Didn't you find mice, you said?
We have a lot of mice that we
outside of the house.
Yeah, we feed them. We limit them inside, but we're no kill kind of thing. So nothing on our property ever gets killed, and
Not
it's
even the ants.
not even the ants. And so we have those many, but we also have a couple dogs and do some wildlife.
So
as
I think maybe our final question for this evening, and you know, the one thing that I think maybe a lot of our listeners may be curious about is, you know, obviously much like ourselves, we don't last forever. Have you ever had an opportunity, or has there ever been an instance where one of your animals that you've rescued has naturally or unnaturally passed on to the next world, and how do you guys honor that animal? Is there a given natural burial? Is there a cremation? Do you, maybe, for example, you know, you have a large cow, if it wasn't sick, do you then offer it up for butchering? I'm only asking because
I'm asking for a friend.
I'd really like to know, because obviously, you know, especially in the sense of butchering, you know, because like we talked before, I'm very much, you know, a cook. So if I were able to get an animal that was raised in a great environment and they passed on naturally without any disease or sickness, you know, if I could have an opportunity to honor that animal further, I would love to take that on. But that's beyond the point.
Yeah, I want to start on that, and then I'm going to pass it off to Matt. But
sure.
I think we think about it the same way as if, you know, your dog passed.
Sure.
And, you know, if your dog passed, or, you know, what would you do with that dog? Would you give it to someone to eat it? Most likely not. And then moving on from that point, you know, luckily we haven't had that happen yet, being a new rescue with the farm animals.
Okay.
We do have an area that we set aside for that to get cremated with, you know, that has the dog and, you know, the cat that we lost.
What's that area?
It's called the Rainbow Garden.
How wonderful. How peaceful. That's so great.
And
Rainbow
we have
garden.
like a little ladder and a little lighted garden at nighttime that, you know, we put photos of them in.
Like a
just
grotto
so we can go
almost.
over there. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and on the same note, you know, if we had a sick cow, we would euthanize that cow, which would make it you know, you couldn't eat that cow because
Sure.
it would be euthanized.
Right.
So arguably, if you had a sick cow and on your end, would we honor and eat it? To do that, we
Well, at
couldn't
that
put
point.
it down in a way that we feel like is humane,
Right.
a way that we feel like is respectful for that animal. And then I just do want to also pass that off on to Matt, who, you know, does come from a culinary background. He was a chef, and how he feels about, you know, eating, let's say, a 16-year-old cow, because most of the cows that go to slaughter are a year olds.
Right,
You
and
know,
at 16 years
pigs are
old, the
6
meat's
months.
not usually not very
Yeah,
tender. It's
yeah.
not very
When-
good.
When they
Months.
get older, they're
Right.
considered inedible for human consumption.
Right.
Consumption. Pigs are slaughtered between 6 and 8 months old when they can live up to 20. Cows are slaughtered between 1.5 and 2 years old when they can live to 25. Chickens are about 6 weeks old when they get
Right.
slaughtered.
Wow.
So after
Right.
that is considered inedible for humans because they're too tough, because they're not consumer products that you can put out. So all of those are going to go into gelatin, dog food, testing, all of that.
Which
other
is a
things.
common misconception as
Which
well
is a
too.
huge, yeah. So
Because you know you don't need to eat. I mean, and this is where it sounds terrible because you know you don't need to eat them that you don't need to eat them that young.
Yeah.
It's not
That is-
necessary.
I do want to touch on
You
that
know,
because
it's-
even though
it's-
it's not necessary, it is a business, you know.
Right,
and-
which is
and
the unfortunate
if you-
and sad
let's say
part
you
about
have
it.
your own cow and you raise it to 20 and this and that might be a different story. But, you know, when you go to a grocery store, even humane, organic, grass-fed, however you want to read it, when you go to a restaurant, you know, a lot of those animals, they're coming from factory farms. They're coming from situations that aren't ideal. And when they're running it as a business, they're running it as what's profitable. Like an animal,
Sure.
a pig grows fastest to 6 months. After 6 months, they slow down their growth. So, if from a business, why would they keep these pigs for 15 years and feed them
Absolutely.
their whole life to sell tough meat? They don't.
Absolutely.
They slaughter them all at 6 months. So, it might be a misconception that that's what needs to be done.
Right.
But standard practices, that's what is done because that's what's most profitable for the business aspect. of
Right.
it.
And you know what, and the reason why I feel like I can kind of understand and relate to what you're saying is because as someone who used to have, you know, a chicken coop in his backyard, you know, as a young man, you know, as a young kid, you know, we did not slaughter the chickens after 6 weeks. You know, it was like, okay, when did you stop producing eggs? And then that's when we would, you know, then go on and, you know, slaughter the animal or so whatever. But
The next part.
but you
But
know,
we have meat breeds and
but-
we have egg breeds
but I-
in the U.S. because we
But
were
it's become-
able to have that.
yeah, and that's what I
for
think,
business
and I think that's the,
purposes.
and, you know, that's where I think the ultimately, you know, the defining issue that we have here is, you know, there's a quota that needs to be met, and at the expense of the quota, we are sacrificing these animals, slaughtering these animals, not sacrificing. We're slaughtering these animals before they
Before they have the
May-
opportunity to
maybe-
reach their full potential.
right, if
Sexual maturity.
right, or which, or
sexual
whatever it is,
maturity.
you know, or whatever. it is.
Stifling their growth.
I mean, it's kind of hard to. I'm sure in the eyes of some of, you know, our vegetarians and our vegan folks, you know, it's hard to justify why these animals need to be slaughtered. I think they're also intelligent enough to understand that, you know what, there is still a large demographic of people here in the United States or in the world that, you know, they still consume these animals. And while there's a need to change, right, I think it's more than just a need to change a diet. And like I said, you know, this is why we need to have them back on, because I think this type of subject reaches so much other things.
We're
because
just touching on it.
We're just touching
Absolutely.
it because it's more, you know, it's about, okay, there's not a need to have protein 3 times a day in one day.
What are the
Meat.
protein?
As
the
we-
protein- or meat.
Remember? Not
Right,
protein.
right. Which
Meat.
Matt and I had talked about meat and protein. There's a significant difference. We are
Because you can
trained,
get protein from other
right?
sources.
But
There's
what?
not
But,
even watermelon.
but we're trained to think that protein only comes from certain meats, and that's why I think it's great that we continue to have this type of discussion and education, because it'll help people understand that, you know what, there's more than one outlet, and there's more than one thing that needs to be done.
And I think, unfortunately, like in today's society, with it being such a business and with there being, so many factory farms,
Sure.
that like kind of your options are, like you had talked about, you go, to this special place, to buy
Sure.
meat. So I think,
And it's more
unfortunately,
and pay a lot.
and
And
it's
pay a
more
lot of money.
expensive,
Absolutely.
right? Which it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to McDonald's, right? The double cheeseburger's only $1, but the salad's $3.49. Well, why is the salad $3.49?
well, because they're getting tax breaks.
From the government.
They're getting tax breaks
So-
from the government.
right, and it should be the other way around.
It should
Absolutely.
be.
It should be the other way around,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the point that I was alluding to. It's okay,
And
the
even-
healthy food, which is actually good for us, that actually costs cheaper, should be cheaper for us instead of more expensive. We are being systematically forced to making the wrong decision as opposed to making the right decision
Right.
And
for the
I-
sake
yeah.
of reaching a bottom line and making money.
And honestly, it's not regulated enough either by the government, which is also another problem because, like, you look at, Firecracker. You met Firecracker. So Firecracker was raised as like organic, grass-fed, pork. And when we picked him up, I mean, he was in a stall smaller than this studio. With 6 other pigs.
And the studio is really small if you've never been here before.
With 6 other pigs, and
Right.
they had 2 pallets tied together for their shelter, and they were fed like scraps from the kitchen, pancakes, bacon,
Including pork.
pizza, pork, and that's the stuff that you're being sold as organic,
free range.
Right.
Happy.
pork because it's not regulated.
Right.
But vegetable gardening is regulated
Right.
out the yin yang.
Yeah.
Wow. It's nuts. It's
thank-
crazy.
Watch
Right?
Cowspiracy on Netflix. Cowspiracy, What the Health,
Forks
Forks
Over
Over
Knives.
Knives, Earthlings if you're feeling really brave. These are all great documentaries to watch. If you guys do watch them, please reach out to us and let us know how you felt about them. We did want to...
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out here.
We blew the clock just for you guys.
We did. We blew the clock just
No.
for you guys. So why don't you guys
we
give
failed
your
you.
shout outs? Then we'll do a quick break, and then we'll do our closing statements and be done with it. So, Matt, why don't you start it off?
I mean, we just appreciate all the community support and anybody here that's even thinking about maybe choosing a plant-based lifestyle or just a little bit intrigued by just this conversation. We're so supportive and so thankful that you're even listening. Please follow us on any social media platforms you have. Instagram and Facebook are going to be our biggest one. We're working on our website, www.farmanimalrefuge.org. We should be able to get it up in the next few weeks, but we're kind of busy picking up poop and feeding pigs at the same time, so to get that up.
So you guys
but
take volunteers, right?
we do take volunteers, and just message us on social media. Jordan is amazing at getting back to everybody's messages, everybody's questions, everybody's calls, everybody's concerns. We would love to field any of those things. And thank you guys so much for having us on. We really appreciate this opportunity.
Invite you guys to come do a special out
Show us
there.
the shirts.
Thor.
I have to see
Show us
Thor.
your stuff. Show us some
I have
merchandise.
to see Thor.
I'm wearing my Chance shirt. So we got Chance, the disabled goat, in his wheelchair. We also have it in a tank top as well that's available.
How much do your shirts run?
So these shirts are $30. And then we have our logo tee right here. This is the one color that we have.
That is
But
awesome.
these are only $20, and these are
Please tell me that's an
available-
XL.
This is an XL. Is this going to be
That-
yours
that's
right
mine.
now?
That's
all right.
mine.
So we're out
That
of
is
one XL.
mine.
We have some Gracie tanks. We have some hats. We have the Make America Kind Again hats, which are really cool.
We just got an order in.
As well as we make our own soaps on the farm, and they're available $5 a bar or $5
Vinny
for
thinks
$20.
Jasmine is
Oh, and then
manly,
the-
And
so
then
we're not gonna touch on
we
that.
got
This
the
is
we got the
great.
bracelets as well available. If you make a big enough purchase, we're just gonna throw a couple of them in there for you. So please just message us on social media, and we'll definitely get back to you.
So real quick, all joking aside, this is actually a serious question. The soaps that you provided, because they smell terrific, these are not made with like animal parts, are they?
No, it's completely
Okay.
vegan, 100%. We use
All
a
right.
blend of 4 different vegetable-based oils for it.
Raw shea
Right on.
butter, avocado oil, distilled water, sodium hydroxide, and essential oils
They're
for
human
smell.
tested, not animal
And
tested.
organic coconut oil and olive oil.
Yes, those are the.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna go take a shower right now.
they are awesome.
You got to buy that one for me.
This is great.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Jordan, did you want to say any last words before we
No,
go
thank
to a
you.
quick break?
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. You're more than welcome always. Your
right.
listeners are more than welcome.
Perfect. All right. Well, Vinny, why don't you break us?
All right, well, here we go. You are listening to Street Talk with the Swift Gang live on GoHamRadio.com.
This has been a GoHamRadio.com exclusive.
You're listening to Street Talk with the Swift Gang.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 3 of Street Talk with the Swift Gang. We've got Farg as our engineer. He's doing a great job. He got us sounding nice right at 10. And then, of course, we've got our DJ Roscoe. So, DJ Roscoe, would you like to give any closing goodbyes or shout-outs before we say adios?
DJ Roscoe.
I would like to say massive respect to all our viewers today that took the time out to jam with me today live.
Jamming.
Really appreciate the support. And special shout out to Jordan and Matt, our special guests for tonight. Epic interview, as you guys all can see.
Mm-hmm. And Farg, would you like to say any closing remarks? There you go.
I think Roscoe hit it right on the head. Thank you both for coming out. It's been an enjoyable and educational experience. I'm coming out. It's going to be soon for sure, so I appreciate that. And again, thank you for all the viewers. We were on time today, so we're making steps here.
On time and overtime. We putting in work here on GoHamRadio.com.
And overtime. But before we go, I've been wanting to make special shout outs. I'd like to thank everyone who's helped us to get to this point so far, specifically Sean Felix, Devereaux Watson, Christian Vega, Dick Circuit, Peggy Payne, George Jones, Ozzy McIntosh, Sarah Stewart, our guest Kay Mella, our guest Trevor Young and Audio Paint, Jordan and Matt of Farm Animal Refuge, Bagheera the Terror. Special shout out to Thor, our brand new member of the Street Gang, and to everyone else who's been liking us and subscribing. Special shout out to our fans, David and Jennifer. Thank you very much for tuning in every week and sharing with your friends. We're going to be here every Friday night, starting actually 9:30 with Jamming with DJ Roscoe, and then 10 o'clock we get on the mic and share everything that we can, at least in the 2-hour time span that we're on the radio.
Sometimes we'll take the liberty and blow the clock like we did today and put on almost a 3-hour show.
Oh, my
which
goodness.
has been terrific. You know what? That's what's really unique about GoHamRadio.com is because we stand for growth, opportunity, hope, and mentorship.
Giving opportunity, hope, and mentorship.
And you know what? And we're giving that to radio personalities. We're giving that to musical artists. We're giving that to
animal activists.
We're giving that to social activists. We're giving that to anything and everything under the sun. You know, one of the biggest things about our radio station is we are trying to put San Diego on the map. We are San Diegans for San Diegans, all small San Diegans. We are not about big corporate businesses. We are not about the big
Not
thing.
yet.
We are about you guys, the small people who scratch our backs, and then we in turn scratch yours. And as long as we can work together as a community, like we're meant to, that's what the purpose that we are here. We are a community. So once again, big ups and big shout out to Farg, our engineer who's been holding it down.
Yep.
DJ Roscoe with all of our musical talent this week and this evening, starting at 9:30. My co-host and partner in crime, Miss Fancy Pants. Our special guest, the Farm Animal Refuge, Matt and Jordan. Thank you so much for coming in today and dropping so much knowledge on us and giving us some really, really great dialogue. Special shout out to our first winner, Mr. David Anton II, for being our first contest winner. You're going to be a guest host. Make sure you like our Facebook page, GoHamRadio.com. Share, like, post. Let everyone know that there's an opportunity for you guys to win and listen into some great information. Once again, my name is Vincenzo, Miss Fancy Pants. This has been Street Talk with the Swift Gang on GoHamRadio.com. Thank you and good night.
Signing off. See you next week.
Streaming live every Friday night, it's Street Talk with the Swift Gang, right here on GoHamRadio.com.